Welcome to the Windy City's Finest, on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is...
Shelley McGarry with Maple Fusion.
Great, yeah. I'm so excited to learn about your artistic practice and what you're up to, and I think we kind of know based on what's behind us, but first we're going to do a segment we kind of call just icebreakers, getting to know you and play a few little games. So to start, we've got some named after the High Level Bridge, or D, a bridge in North Yorkshire, London.
Oh my gosh.
So many things.
So I also do comedy. So I probably wouldn't pick B.
No?
No, I would pick another one, but maybe I should go with B instead. What do you think?
Yeah, it's B, William Lethbridge.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, so now you have to ask me a question. Perry has prepared some secret questions that I don't know about.
Oh, he has.
So hit me with the first one, Shelley.
Okay, Mac. Perry did Shakespeare in the Park in Lethbridge for how many years? A, 1 year, B, 2 years, C, 3 years.
Motto. It is, yes, I think it's on the flag or something. Is A, a place to grow. B, bridging communities. C, the Windy City. Or D, gateway to opportunity.
Well, I'm going to go with, because this is the Windy City podcast, I'm going to go with C, Windy City.
That is a great option, but it is not the right one. It's Gateway to Opportunity, adopted in 1907, and still remains today. I think it's on our flag or crest or something.
Well, that's something new for me today.
There we go.
Oh.
I don't know him at all.
No, there we go.
Great, awesome. All right, we're done our trivia questions.
Okay.
Yeah, the next one, our game is called This or That. And we just ask simple questions out of this hat. So coffee or tea, dogs or cats, things like that.
Okay.
And we'll both answer. I will do the first one. Plan ahead or be spontaneous.
Oh, that's a tough one. Depends what you're doing, but I would have to go with plan ahead.
Yeah, you're a planner, yeah. I think, overall, again, depends on what you're doing. I would say as well. I like to plan what's going on. Yeah, all right. You can ask me a question.
Okay. Well, and I could ask a question as I'm pulling one. Whose hat? That's pretty
This
nifty.
is my top hat, yes.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. Okay.
A little more
And I always think I fuse the old with the new.
Okay.
So, yeah. But every aspect of my life, I think pretty eclectic.
Okay, that's
it's more
great.
fun.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. All right, so we'll ask another question. If I'm listening to like an album on like a CD, I don't have vinyl. I find that like I tend to listen to the whole album, and that's a different experience than like if I'm streaming. I just like next. So
True.
that's just how I feel about that.
True.
Yeah. All right.
My last one?
Maybe we'll do one more each.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we're feeling. Oh, okay.
So it's winter is planting season for the garden, and it's I got to get this happening. But summer is producing.
So you've already planted, I assume.
I do. I even have right now.
Nice. All right. I guess we'll do one more, and then we can switch to our other game. Let's find one that's not open. Maybe we'll get a new one.
Ooh.
A lot of times we get the same ones for some reason.
Okay.
Okay. Shoes or sandals?
Oh.
Nice, good. Well, that's great. Now we know a little more about each other.
Awesome.
Yeah, but then we're going to go a little deeper with our Jenga game.
Oh, dear.
Our Tumbling Towers game.
Okay.
Just to refresh you on the, we'll call the rules of this game. So this one, you just pull out a tile. Technically, you can't take from the top three, but I will just, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to take this one because I know it's loose. And then you're going to put it on top. And then, each tile has a corresponding number. And then we ask a question based on the number. So, and the tower has only ever fallen once, and it was my fault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you don't feel bad if it falls.
If it falls, okay.
It's happened before. That's what they tell me.
Okay.
All right, so I will go first, I guess. Or wait, no, I guess I did the last question. Why don't you go first? So
give
it a try.
Oh, gosh, I've never played this before. And you can't do the top three. Okay, I'll come down to...
And you feel free to feel it out.
Oh.
Okay,
it looks like a few...
Feel one. Oh, that one looks good.
Okay, hang on here. And you can't touch other...
Yeah, you can only use one hand.
Oh!
Number 40.
Number 40. And then I put it on top, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this question. If money,
Massive blow up, dress up party like you wouldn't believe. That would be my number one first thing. It truly has nothing to do with tariffs, but I wouldn't fly anywhere. I'd probably take those buses and do Canada.
cross Canada trip,
Yeah.
with the same group or?
No, I think it'd just be my daughter and
Yeah. Maybe do a dress-up party while I'm
on the
there.
way.
Yeah. Nice. Great. All right. Another question. I think because I
See how this is done.
yeah. Just like that. That's how it's done. 48.
Ooh.
The 40s. Okay. Oh, tricky. But what's a classic movie you haven't seen yet?
Oh, a classic movie I haven't seen yet.
No?
I don't know because I watch many old
Yeah, I should.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Yeah, but maybe it's a generational thing, but I find like movies before about 1985, I don't, they're too old.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I guess I could give it a try. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, check out The Godfather. I've heard good things. Yeah. Interesting. So, yeah, that's that. Kept. If you could name one. Yeah.
Oh, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few.
Okay. Okay.
No, but a sentimental item would be a purple, pink-ish, more pink, hippopotamus.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to ask, tell me more about that.
Well, it was a very young lad in elementary school, and the teacher had this one.
Great, that's a great thing to keep. Yeah. I understand why you would keep that. Yeah, for me, what came to mind was I have this. Like I said, I would do a lot of hiking, and I have this old like hat. It's almost like a cowboy hat, but it's like made of leather, and used it for years and years and years, and it just got quite tired, and ended up replacing it with just like a basic kind of ball cap. And I just can't get rid of the hat, even though I don't wear it anymore. And it wasn't very practical. It just has all these memories around all these different hiking trips that I've done. So it sits at home, and I don't wear it, but it's still there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You'll have to get a piece of Scottish heather and put it in the hat.
I could do that, yes. All right. Yeah, we could go again. I think it's my turn. Is it my turn? Yeah.
Is it? I think
I
it
can't
is.
remember.
I think it is. We have 3 on the top, so.
Sure, well, that doesn't tell me much. All right. Oh, the middle one again.
Oh, so maybe, oh, look at that. Oh, that's okay. You could leave it that way, and then it's easy.
45, all the 40s.
40s.
If you found yourself in London for the day, what would you do?
Oh, jolly,
London.
pip, pip, and all that rot.
Yes.
I probably would go and do high tea somewhere. I did it in Victoria at the big hotel there. And
Holiday Inn?
oh my God, no, right down on the wharf, where the Queen goes, that place. Yeah. And it was spectacular. So that's probably what I would do.
Lovely.
How about yourself?
I think I would join you for tea.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Have a spot of tea.
Have a spot of tea.
Yes, absolutely.
We can do British accents. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
I'm working Scottish. Do you know anyone that happens to speak Scottish?
I don't. I do not know anyone that happens to speak Scottish, Shelley. Yeah.
Just on the off
Okay.
chance. Anyways, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think because my partner's from Spain. That's usually my go-to answer.
Oh.
I do not speak Spanish. Learned a bit, but if I could, I would love to be fluent with that and maybe be able to talk to her parents once in a while. So sometimes it's better not to know the language. Maybe.
Hello and welcome once again to the Windy City's Finest, on location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this is...
Shelley K with Maple Fusion.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting us into your studio, into your space, and for just spending the time and energy with us. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to this segment, and we're going to dive into your artistic practice and your journey so far. And I think I'll just open it wide open, and could you just tell us what it is you do?
Oh, wow.
If that's a small question.
Well, I can give you a short answer and then expound.
Yeah.
I sing Canadian history.
That is very concise. Oh my gosh. So has that always been the case, or has that evolved? Tell me about the journey towards that incredibly...
I've done work with them as well. I mean, that's what most people can associate with. But then sitting down and talking to our seniors, people from other countries, finding their histories out. That is so exciting. And to me, so if we take the other hand, is music is a universal language. So if it's someone from another country, another, I was going to say dimension, but, well, possibly, but another time, another hair. So what I've tried to do is always sing, I'm a proud Canadian, and so singing Canadian history and finding it, that's huge. That isn't a 3-word answer.
No.
It really isn't. Often I will be having conversations, singing music, and so having a chat with them. And again, conversations are about music. And I remember my grandmother's lullaby rocking me to sleep. Example of sharing at the end of, we're in lockdown in an Alzheimer's section, and I was singing, and there was someone that was just very interested, and they didn't want it in the music, but they didn't want to talk afterwards. And when I said something and the family member was helping them out, his centennial song for Canada. And most people say, yeah, I heard that song. And yet that was poignant for people in 1967. That was a huge song. So what else was throughout history? You know, the Coca-Cola song. You know, all of these types of things that there's times and places. Who's the famous, this is back to trivia, but who is the famous athlete, Terry Fox? And cancer, and the songs around him. Have you heard of any of his songs?
I cannot say that I have.
And they're profound.
Older folks and maybe people with stuff like Alzheimer's. When did that start?
And they had...
No, you're good.
And they came out once a month.
Okay. Reader's Digest sounds familiar, but I cannot say that I have seen. Yeah.
That's why I said, did you ever see them?
Right.
And they were short stories, so a story that could be read in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they'd come out once a month, and it was one of the things when I was 6 years old, the Reader's Digest came out. I really shouldn't put that on here because then you can figure out my age.
Oh, whatever.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And we got these once a month. And my father packed me up with a Reader's Digest book. And we were going for a little walk in Calgary. And we walked up, took me into a room and sat me down in a chair and said, oh, here's someone that never gets, I'll never forget this, never gets visitors. I'm sure she would love to hear a story. So I'm 2 things here I'm hearing. Never gets visitors. 6.
Right.
But it taught me humility and compassion. And wow, I think what really stayed.
It was like both scary, but there's that idea of like, you know, if you're scared, it means that you care. But then also being able to your own thing, right? Was there a shift between those things of like, reading those Reader's Digest things and then, your own music or your own thing? Not
really. I again, probably at that same period of time, I used to sit out in the backyard on the swings and sing my heart out. And, you know, I was probably me something to be able to give back because I had a very rich environment that I was living in. So
I honestly love that point, and I don't care if it sounds whatever you said.
Right.
Because it's very much that idea of like being of service. It sounds like you were being of service, whether you knew it or not. But like you clearly got value out of that.
Right.
And I think it's wonderful that you've been able to develop that. So if we were to have all that richness in mind and kind of fast forward here, what could you tell me about your...
Yes, one could say. But yes, it's very much on that same track, but there's an added car to the train, which again at the age of 6, my mom had friends that had 2 daughters, and surprisingly they had a brother, I beg your pardon, that was younger with Down syndrome. And so I got to know him, and I got to know many other individuals, and had quite compassion because of all of this.
Yeah.
And music seemed to connect
Nice.
with people with special needs. And so that was as a teen and young. It's just the most amazing experience. Like, it's just so fun. Many people are scared to go, but we have fun.
Yeah.
They just love music. And Chelsea is the star of the event, and she fits in with everyone. And we just, so yeah, the train is very much there. Sounds of our history, it's still, so history makes us who we are. So whether it is someone with special needs, senior, children, we all have a story to tell. And I just would like everyone, no matter what age you are, you know, where did you come from? And what did you bring with you? And what is your culture? And how does that make your life and who you are special? And I just love hearing other people's stories.
I think that's so special, as like, in many ways, as a storyteller, that your focus really is on people who I think generally don't think they have a story to tell. But what I'm hearing is that you're like, everybody's got a story.
They do.
Yeah. What can you tell me about, like, parsing that out for people, or creating that space or that vibe for people to, like, share their story?
Well, I'm a chatty Cathy.
Right.
Okay, you noticed that, right?
Yes.
And so for my story hive, sounds of our history, and I'm talking it up and telling people about what to do with all these tools. And I'm thinking, okay, this is really cool. And so the vibe of music, how would someone with tools know to come up to me and say, I'd like to talk to you about my life history? And it's because it's music. There's music somewhere in, I think, everybody's family. I have yet to find someone that can't say and that can open up a conversation with people. So things like, I think today I've got maple leaves as opposed to music. Oh,
Sure.
Sorry, hitting the microphone.
All good.
So the maple leaves today, I mean, that's part of the us, not necessarily like Mac, who goes hiking or biking or what have you, but how did we actually land here, and how did our ancestors get here? And that to me is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And what did our ancestors do when they got here?
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to pivot slightly because there's just too many thoughts happening in my brain right now. So maybe I'll be able to parse them out as we go. But I also know that you have a roving wagon. And I'm curious what you could tell us about that.
Ah, yes. Well, so, oh my goodness.
Is that a big question?
Yeah, now, you see, that's not just a 3-word answer.
Right.
A few years ago, I got into professional clowning. So I took clown training. I've registered my face. I've registered my nose.
Oh, wow.
And I've taught clown training and to Shriners and to regular folk. And I learned from that so much about entertaining when you're that close up and personal, and another caricature. And the roving aspect of it was fascinating. So the roving wagon is, how do you take standing on stage behind a microphone, playing, and I so want to get out there and be that engaging person. And I do have things on my instruments that I can actually walk away, and then we have these lovely gadgets of microphones. And so I can actually walk out into the crowd, which is very disconcerting for your band when you do that. So as a children's entertainer, that is probably my absolute love, is that age, that family friendly. I have created a wagon that has light festival where I did one last summer, and it was so hot, and there was no cover, but there was a bank of trees, and all the entertainment and everything was happening over here. So I took my, wow, so many. Probably it would be an individual with special needs, and they were at an event, and I didn't take the wagon. It was after a show, and I wasn't doing roving. And I just took an instrument, and there was an individual that was just way over, and I could tell that there was sensory, so I couldn't even get too close. And I just knew from experience, and I just sat and played, and it was like the seniors, or being on stage, being able to give to somebody.
Unquote wrong, but it's kind of like failing with grace, right? Or just leaning into it because it's what happened, right?
It is. And that's where the humor, for me, that's where the humor comes into play.
Nice, yeah.
Saturdays I taught, and on Saturdays I'd go help him at the shop. And we kept getting calls for a clown. And I'm an entrepreneur.
Nice.
So I said to him, either you or I have to be a clown. And I just, when there were hundreds and hundreds of people and we were all clowns.
Oh my gosh.
It was the most amazing experience. And so that's the eclectic Shelley is. And I do want to do things correct, is let's find out what the best way to do this is. So one thing just led to another.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I'm hearkening back to your segment with Mac of like very much a preparer.
Yes.
But I'm curious about that idea of doing the prep work, and then also just the nature of clowning and just failing with grace and just being spontaneous. What can you tell me about that? And like learning through doing as well, right? Because there's only so much you can learn in theory, but then putting it into practice. What can you tell me about that?
Well, as an actor, I'm sure you can appreciate and value the times where we fail on stage, we forget our lines, whatever that might be, and one has to be thinking quickly on their feet, and you have to move forward and to be on top of things, and you had to be thinking 10 steps ahead and have that comedic little bit or bits that you couldn't just rehearse. They just came up, right, as an actor, and you just got to fix it. Did that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Another question I have for you is, what's one thing that you have learned through your music career? One thing. I'm sure there's many. What's something you've learned?
Humility and compassion. That's two. Okay, humility. Let's go humility.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the words that came up, at the very beginning, talking about your earlier years, like when you were 6. How does that show up now for you?
Oh my goodness. In many ways, I'm never too proud to say, you know what, I don't know how to do something. But I'm also, when I'm on stage, when you mess up, you fess up, and I've always found that it's so much better. Either you learn to carry on and keep on going, or you fess up and it's part of the act. And it's just being humble with it. And I don't know, there's a lot of egos in acting, music, performing. It's so ego driven, and that's discerning to me. It's just, so trying to have humility and make sure that I'm not ego driven. You can get caught up in the moment of your stage, and it's like so powerful, and
plus because you're being of service and sharing music and stories, but then also in your like private life, right? Like of also being humble there. I don't know if that spurs any thoughts.
Well, actually, it's funny.
Nice.
I wear a banana hat.
Okay.
I just hit the mic again. I'm so sorry.
You're all good.
So I wear a banana hat. I wear pirate hats. I wear cat hats. I wear what the song says I should. And so I try to remove the ego with the tickle trunk And I think it brings people closer, and sometimes think I don't even really know music or know how to play. And that's okay, because I know how to put on a really good banana hat.
Right, yeah. And so, and I have to ask, did you say tickle trunk?
Tickle trunk.
What is that? I've never heard that phrase.
Oh my goodness, a tickle trunk.
Yeah.
Oh, a tickle trunk is amazing. It's just, have you ever heard of Mr. Rogers?
I have, yeah.
Mr. Rogers had the phenomenalist, if that's not a proper word,
That's
but
okay.
he had a phenomenal tickle trunk.
Interesting.
And you
How has your artistic practice changed you? Which, having heard your story, that's like, I don't even know how you would approach that question, but because it sounds like it, started very young. So I'm just curious, how have you changed through your art, or is it all one big thing for you?
Well, in many ways, it is.
And guitars,
I am, and so it's just. But I think as life just takes you and creates you through, I've shuffled and changed from being 17 and being in Sing Out Calgary and touring Alberta and doing choreography and music and so on. As the music has grown with me and as changes happen, my music happens. Is that answer okay?
I mean, what I'm getting from that is just that idea of like, your artistic practice.
Welcome to the Windy City's Finest, on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Shelley K from Maple Fusion.
All right, Shelley. So we are showcasing what you're all about, and we learned about the tickle trunk, and so we thought, hey, I got inside the tickle trunk, and we just pulled some stuff out. We're gonna have some fun. So
We are.
yeah. Tell me, we're gonna go on a little journey. Where are we gonna go?
Well, I sing Canadian history, so that's coast to coast, and I think where we'll go first of all is to Newfoundland. Usually as I do performances, I kind of, do the journey as we go, but you just look so fine as a pirate. Right. And these are called ugly sticks. And we should close their ears so that they don't hear that they're ugly. But an ugly stick is truly a Newfoundlander. You've heard of kitchen parties?
I have.
Okay. Well, if you went to a kitchen party, you may not have the hat on, but you would definitely have an ugly stick. And an ugly stick is pretty basic. In the old days, it could have just an old tomato soup or tomato juice can on top instead of the mop and the hair. It would have, these would be beer. And you always have a boot at the bottom. And they're attached to a pole, and then there, you see? Listen to the music you can get out of that.
He's famous.
This is an instrument, a percussion instrument from a band. So if you kind of whack it on the top, you can get different sounds. That's it. And then I've given you a screw there. Whoa. So how these work is just exactly that. We keep a beat, and if we were singing a song, just a little secret if you happen to be traveling, because you do Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, if you stop in at Tabor, there happens to be a mayor in Tabor that knows how to play a pretty mean ugly stick.
Okay.
You must stop in and say hello to him and
All
ask
right.
him how his ugly stick playing is.
Okay, I'll say.
He's pretty darn good. He plays Twitch a lot.
Okay, and you said
Yeah.
Twitch was famous.
That's Newfoundland.
There we go. We went to Newfoundland.
There you go. And those are our instruments from Newfoundland.
We have to take the hats off.
Well, no, you can keep yours on.
Good.
I think it actually would really keep suiting you. Especially, there's another thing. If directly in behind you, so playing a washboard, and if I could just have this for half a moment. The old washboards, of course, used to be glass in here. And when you play a washboard nowadays, you take thimbles, or in my case, I typically will take guitar picks. BC on a Saturday night jam, because we didn't have room to put even a snare drum in.
Yeah.
And I was the percussion. So I will give you this to have a little whirl. And I think in this little pouch, there we go. See, Mac is already excited to keep that hat. He doesn't want to take it off.
Right?
There we go.
Okay, and then I would just...
And you just...
Nice.
And our next thing that I'd like to show you, and you selected this puppet from the back. And should I tell about Gus, or would you like to tell about
No, you go
Gus?
ahead. Tell about
Okay,
Gus.
well, I have a puppet family, and they go many, many different places. Now, Gus isn't quite finished yet. He's going to have a kilt, and it's going to be an Alberta kilt. But if we take a look at his hat, it is the Canadian tartan. So Gus is very sporting on that. His name is Rusty Grumplesnoot. And so, how are you?
I'm great, Rusty. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. There we go. So ventriloquism is always interesting to do. And there's a couple of sounds that are really bad.
Oh.
And so there's other sounds that are not so good. Things like B. The boy had a basketball.
The boy had a basketball.
And now try saying it with your lips like this. The boy had a basketball.
Oh, I had a basketball. Yeah, that is difficult.
And so you, he's pretty good. Oh, you are. You're very good.
Thank you.
And then when you want to put an accent or a voice to your puppet, it's really interesting. So Rusty is the main one that comes out with me an awful lot.
Yeah.
There's Ellie Mae, and she may be showcasing in some of my upcoming podcasts. There will be Nikki, family of puppets are, and Rip is our drummer. You got to have a musician. Got to have a musician. And then Calvin Canuck, or CC, he's our environmentalist. And he's a little bit straight-laced. So,
Guess, Perry's going to bring one over here.
oh, here we go. Here's Ellie Mae. So this is Ellie Mae. She's going to be much like, oh, we're going to have them all come over and see
Yes,
us.
yeah.
Woohoo! There we go. And so here comes Rip.
All right, well, we'll see the next character.
The
in this
next, we're just
lineup.
going to switch
guess,
them in and
yeah.
out.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Now this is Rip. And Rip, I keep thinking I should have some kind of a contest, because I don't know his last name, but I don't know also if he looks tough enough to be, a drummer.
Do you have like the audience members using the puppets at all?
No,
or
actually, what I do is I usually use them individually, because it takes the magic out of the puppets.
Sure.
If you do, I've got. I don't have one handy. I've got a couple of fluff puppets that you would buy at a store. A cat and a beaver. And they're fur here, because he's blue, he attracts. I mean, they all kind of attract a certain attention.
Sure.
But they can be utilized to open up dialogues as well. And all ages love it. Not just kids. Adults are good with it, and that's where I want to have Rip, and particularly as a character that might, not that I'd take Rip into a bar, because I don't think he has his ID with him, but for adults that are in that age group, from seniors to kids, but right in that middle piece, how do you attract them as well? And then this fella here, he's CC, and so he's kind of our conscientious come from the story. Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely. It's great to meet the family of puppets.
The family of puppets.
Yeah,
Well, and old Angus there, he definitely needs to have himself some kind of trousers. Am I saying no? That